You're tuning into 3 things you need to know about life, home, and real estate here in Alaska with Ken. It is the 27th of September. Man, it is crazy. Fall is here. Fall is in the air here in Alaska and a lot of other places. Football has started. We're all getting into that. We're a few weeks into the season. And I'm back, and I was back last week. It was great to get the comments, and I'm so glad that you tuned in. I want to jump right into this week's vlog, starting talking about a subject that's come up in a number of different places about life. And I want to share with you, if you're not familiar with this, if you can read it, uh, this is the Eisenhower quadrant. And in this, it helps to prioritize what you're doing with your time. The way that it works is there's 4 boxes, and they go around from important and urgent to not urgent but important, then urgent but not important, and not urgent and not important. And when you look at this the first time, you're like, oh, okay, whatever, that seems so simple. But it's a great way to start to look at how you're prioritizing your tasks. I did Franklin Covey years ago, and this has been such a help for me because it helps to remind us that most of our life ought to be up here when we use our tasks, are things that are important, but they're often not urgent. These are the fires that happen. These are the emergencies that show up, things that are important and urgent, but you don't want to live here because you're stressed all the time. But when you focus on the things that are important but not urgent, you're focused on things like your family, good things that are creative in your business where you're most productive. But oftentimes we also get drug into things that are urgent but not important. And those are things that are other people's needs, other things that may show up at work and pull you away and drag you away. So they're not particularly important to you, but they are urgent and they seem like you got to get to them. And then there's quadrant 4, and that's all the time wasters. Not that Facebook's completely a time waste, but pretty much it is. Social media and so many other things that are there. Those things that just cause us to veg, but they don't actually help us to really relax. We actually get stressed out about them. We look at all the different studies about looking at these screens, and here I am as a YouTuber doing this and talking about it. But it is important that you take some time to be away from that. So the Eisenhower Matrix, that's the word I'm looking for, is a great way to look at things. And you want to be able to find yourself up there more often than not in quadrant 2. And those are the most important things. If you prioritize your tasks, one of the things that Franklin Covey talks about is those things that are in quadrant 1, we give them the letter A, and we rank those as A1, A2, A3. B are those things that are quadrant 2, and C are those things that are in quadrant 3, and we don't want very many of those. And the most important thing is that we do not schedule, we don't put things in there that are in quadrant 4, because that is not what we want. And I got a dog that's barking to let out. Man, I tell you what, can't do anything around here without these fuzzy critters that keep wanting to have attention. So talking about home, I'm kind of moving things fast, but if you're paying attention, you'll notice that I have a little bandage up there on my pinky. And sad to say, part of this little piggy is not here anymore. And today I want to talk about number 2 in the home, and that's the plan for safety. And I'm going to go let the dog out. Nothing like being real in a vlog. Yeah, let them out. So, so going back to this. So safety. Yeah, this is not because I'm drinking tea all the time. No, this is the thing. When it comes to working on projects around your home, safety needs to be a key. You need to plan for safety. I was a Boy Scout. Being prepared is something that was important. Thankfully, where I was working, while it was remote, talking a little bit about Alaska, we were over an hour from getting to an ER. And so there's a challenges here, and so being prepared is so very important. But even if you're close to an ER, you don't want to take that for granted, depending on the injury that you might have sustained. So, and this was one there were no blades involved. I mean, it's crazy, and that's a whole other story. But the way that I explained it is plywood and your pinky cannot occupy the same space at the same time. So without further ado, what I want to bring up is two really simple pieces of equipment that you need to keep around. One is a great pair of work gloves. Not that they would have necessarily kept happening to me, what would happen, but it might have, depending on which ones I had. And a pair of safety goggles to protect these. Even though I got really bad eyesight, what I have, I like to keep, and I want to keep these around. So it's very important that you keep those things around. And the third thing, which I don't have a sample of, but I have plenty around the house, is a first aid kit. Even a simple first aid kit with bandages. And one thing I would always recommend is something that is a particular wound care, something that can absorb a lot of blood. That's kind of not really joking. So make sure that you're safe. Be prepared for accidents around your home. And usually the more you're attentive to that, and make sure you keep that first aid kit up to date so that you're ready just in case anything were to happen. Now, the third thing today is real estate. And as we talk about fall, one of the things that I think is really important is for you to understand one of the things that happens in the fourth quarter when it comes to real estate is that prices tend to drop. Now, there's no guarantee, but the tradition in the market is as we move into fall, prices tend to drop. And some people say the market's going to crash. It's not. If prices start coming down, that is part of what happens in the market. And here in Alaska, we are seeing some room for negotiation. So if you're looking at getting into the market, know that now's a good time to do that because we're time constrained here. And we hadn't really talked about it too much, but the termination dust that's on the mountains, the first snowfalls, is starting to work its way down. And once the snow hits here in Alaska, it's going to stay until May. So folks that are looking at moving or buying, a lot of times there's a little bit of a rush this time of year to close up deals and to find what you're looking for and to get in there. So there might be some deals that are coming on the market. Again, I can't guarantee anything, but now is a good time to make sure that you're pre-approved if you're looking to buy. But wherever you are in the country, just know that this time of the year, as fall comes in, is a time when things in the market begin to be far more negotiable than they were before because people want to make decisions, they want to sell, they want things to move. As winter gets in, people like to hibernate. So those are my things for this week of September the 27th, 2023. Three things to know. Tongue twister about life, home, and real estate here in Alaska. If you've got questions, make sure you DM me. A lot of folks have done that. I got some other videos and some great suggestions from y'all that have reached out. I appreciate that. And make sure you keep those coming. If there's something that you want to know about and learn, let me know. And if you need to get in touch with me, you can DM me, message me down there, let me know, and you can get a hold of me. My contact information will be in the comment section. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and whack that bell icon like we do salmon every summer here in Alaska. And stay tuned for new videos coming out every week.